Well, this same sleepy, complacent, dogmatic, bloated Defence Department didn't know that almost 1,000 Chinese-made surveillance cameras and other devices have been installed in federal departments, including Defence, Home Affairs, Attorney General, Climate Change, Energy and Treasury. It's Australia. It was not the Defence Department that revealed this, but the young Victorian Liberal federal opposition spokesman on cybersecurity, James Patterson, who argued that these devices are a national security concern. They've got cameras and microphones scattered around government buildings and public places, made by two Chinese companies, Hikvision and Dahua, both partly owned by the Chinese Communist Party, banned by the UK and America last November because of concerns that they were gathering data that could be fed to Beijing. But it's taken Senator James Patterson to point all of this out. 1,000 Chinese-made surveillance cameras installed in federal departments. Which brings us back to Joe Biden and the business about the balloons. Americans are now jittery watching the skies as mysterious devices have been sighted by military radar. Now, a Chinese surveillance balloon was destroyed off the Atlantic coast on February 4 after crossing America. That balloon had the US material, the balloon, I'm starting to sound like Joe Biden, don't I? That balloon that the US military downed was a fair dinkum spy balloon, which has been described as a floating fortress of Chinese surveillance gadgetry the size and weight of a small building. However, Joe Biden wants to appear tough on China. The Republicans say he's soft. So trying to prove that he's tough, he's ordered fighter jets to shoot down 3 unidentified objects over the United States and Canada, which has now put a spotlight on amateur balloonists who insist their activities pose no threat. US government officials have yet to definitively identify the objects, but Biden was forced to admit on Thursday that they were probably balloons linked to private companies or hobbyists. One of them was a $17 hobby balloon described as missing in action. There are also these pico balloons, P-I-C-O, which are shoved into the air to measure things like temperature, humidity, pressure, wind and so on. And it's argued that's what a couple of these balloons were. Now, the bloke who founded Scientific Balloon Solutions has said he tried to contact the American military and the FBI to tell them what these things are, but got the runaround. You see, Joe Biden ordered that they be shot down. Well, the very bright Republican Senator Ted Cruz said in relation to the hobby balloons, and I quote, "Please tell me the White House didn't spend the month of February scrambling jets to fire $400,000 missiles at the local hobby club's $12 balloon," unquote. It's also reported that one of the missiles fired at one of these balloons missed and it landed in the Great Lakes. Said Senator Cruz sarcastically, quote, "To be fair, Biden is providing powerful deterrence for any high school science club that might try to invade America," unquote. Biden has now admitted that he gave the order to take down the objects, which were likely used for research or recreation. Now, where do we fit into this? And our wonderful Defence Force, in John Glenn's words, bloated, dogmatic, complacent and unsuccessful. Well, China could send one of these things, a real spy balloon, across Australia, but we don't have an aircraft capable of shooting it down. As Robert Gottliebsen has argued, the pride of our Air Force, the problem-racked Joint Strike Fighter F-35, has an operational ceiling of about 35,000 feet. The Chinese balloon, the fair dinkum one in America, was travelling between 60 and 65,000 feet. Our F-35 could possibly reach 50,000 feet, but it couldn't stay there long. It would run out of fuel. So we don't have the wherewithal to shoot down a Chinese spy balloon. It's all very well having a defence review, but Beijing knows it can do whatever it wants to gather our secrets, hence the surveillance devices with cameras and microphones scattered around our government buildings, made by Chinese companies partly owned by the Chinese government. And now we learn they can send any number of spy balloons, surveillance balloons over our country, Pine Gap or any other defence installation, and we don't have an aircraft capable of shooting them down. I think the balloon is an appropriate metaphor for our defence bureaucracy, a stack of hot air.